Hey, it's Vigil. The day is 5/16/2022. The time is 9:51. Things are going well. I don't know. Hold on. Hey, I had my fear response triggered today when my peer support person, because I'm court ordered to see a peer support person, took a wrong turn or whatever and started leaving the boundaries of which I'm allowed to leave. So I quickly told her and we turned around very fast. But I had this sudden overwhelming fear that was artificial, kind of like the impulsive thoughts that like they put into your head with neural laces. But all is well. I'm working on a new project, I guess, to create halos. So essentially use a fiber optic cable that's without impurities within it to create a glass tube that's a perfect circle. Then you shoot it with a laser beam, so you essentially create a containment field for the halo. You can spray paint it silver, some sort of reflective metal, but that theoretically should cause a distortion in space-time as it twists space-time like a non-Newtonian fluid with the photons, and it should just keep twisting and twisting and twisting until it creates an artificial gravity well, which is time dilation, which allows you to have more time in your day if you put the halo around your head, theoretically. But I hope to design the technology using fiber optic cabling that you can buy at the store, low-grade lasers, and I simply need a lab to start working out of, or an engineering warehouse shop. And what else is going on? I don't know. I guess cartels are moving in through the border that's porous. China is preparing for war. Russia is losing badly, but it's going to drag everyone else into it because they think their leadership thinks that the existential threat to himself is is more severe than the existential threat to all of society with nuclear weapons. But I'm pretty sure we've sabotaged the weapons fairly well. And there's that missile shield which we put up. So theoretically we should be able to prevent nuclear war as long as no one walks in everything, which is the only way to get nuclear weapons into anywhere, which hopefully our intelligence agency is able to catch it before anything happens. But if you look at the doomsday clock, which is really just probability over time of an event that is assured to occur because it's above possibility, or it has a possibility of true and probability increasing over time, which is what the doomsday clock is. So what the doomsday clock is, you have possibility of yes, it can occur, with a probability that is over time increasing indefinitely until the doomsday clock hits midnight and we all die. It's a probabilistic statistical framework, and over time it increases until it eventually hits true or 1, and it occurs. As long as nuclear weapons exist, this doomsday clock will always edge closer to hitting nuclear annihilation of our species. At least a remnant of our species will survive, and after 10,000, 100,000 years it will progress again to a civilization state like we have now. But what else is there to talk about? So we have cartels pouring in through the border. They'll start doing terrorism on the local level, like home invasions and shit. That's just their MO. That's the standard operating procedure. And like, we have China, we've caught China smuggling weapons and training community, or like training special forces to Mexico. And from there it pours over into our border. Well, our civilization, or Western civilization, specifically America, starts to divide and crack and splinter, destroying the values of democracy, which require homogenization, which doesn't really exist in this community. The neural laces from the future, they've connected everyone to the alien or internet, but no one understands that they can't talk about it because of a forward-looking grandfather paradox or an EITO paradox. So they scapegoat and target people who they can get the community to justify nodding and winking at, even though the community has no idea what's being said. Like the shit I've been trying to say to them versus their reaction to it, the smiles, nods, and winks and shit, they have no idea what's being said. It's deep fakes, scripts, or they're being remote controlled or something. By the way, this is once again a fictional journal. Mixing reality with a little bit of fiction because reality sucks. Or is it? No, it is. Or is it? It is. Or is it? That's a joke from Scanner Darkly. Anyways, I'm doing well. I've been working out every day. I slept a whole bunch the past couple of days because of how much I was working out. Hold on. Okay, I'm still dealing with a lot of PTSD from what occurred. And it shows itself in this sensation of emotional obliteration. And that the community I'm in sucks. Like it's a shitty place to be. Half the people are okay, I guess, maybe a quarter. But the rest of them just suck as people. And the cops drive around constantly, and it's just a threat of violence and imprisonment for shit that they just will make up, which is the literal definition of terrorism. To use threat of violence to coerce a person's behavior, that's the literal definition of terrorism. And like, I don't know, not a big fan of the government, I guess. They are deluded control freaks who are delusional and think that breaking our laws to save the nation saves the nation somehow. It's silly. We live in a nation that is the rule of law, and they're not doing their role in our society. You know, like, if you're scared of being shot first, you shouldn't be a cop. But it's whatever. Nothing I can say or do about it, because they will hunt me down and gut me like a fish if I try to voice any sort of objection to their oppressive means and methods. And what else? I've been working on my sign language. That's alinear sign language. You know, like, I'll do a video of it later on the computer because I can't do it while I'm holding my phone. I don't know. I find this society to suck. There's no way out of it, which is really unfortunate. And I don't know. I'm not sure what else. Hold on. There's a cop. A lot of these thoughts are just the tip of my brain. Some of it's fantasy, some of it's not. I can tell the difference between reality and fiction, don't get me wrong, but I'm writing pseudo-fiction, which is like hyper-realistic fiction that appears to be real but isn't. But this journal serves the purpose of allowing me to talk out my various disordered delusions from the past. It allows me the chance to review myself over time, and it's on the internet specifically for exposure therapy, though I don't know if the government lets it get out. Can't let a dissenter have free speech because he's got an attitude problem, is what they said. But I don't know, man. The society's in free fall. The economy is hyper speculated. I wrote about this on Twitter. It's inflated. Asset prices went up by like a third in the course of a year because they dumped a third of the money that was in the system into the system in the hopes that it would stave off collapse, and they just set up the market for hyperinflation, essentially. It sucks. It really sucks. They're going to crash the economy, which is why I don't have any savings. I had the opportunity to save money, and I decided against it. I don't own stock. I don't own cryptocurrency. I live off paycheck to paycheck, which is not much. But I don't know. They framed me for this crime, denied me a lawyer and stuff, and then tortured me with electrodes and drugging till I was browning out. At least that's a fiction that they deny. hold on. Regarding the fire, it wasn't an art piece. I just said that because I was scared of being sent to the hospital. And the reality is it was a suicide attempt. I still have the suicide note, which is half burned. I got it from the house. But the government lies compulsively whenever it's convenient. I don't particularly like that. I think their authority position over us isn't really valid. Who knows, man? If you question that, they'll target you. And like, I don't know, some of this is really hard to cope with just because of what was done to me by the government. And it continues to be done. Like, this isn't freedom, this is an internment camp for re-education of dissenters as they rob me of my wealth. Saying I'm robbing them somehow, it's stupid. A-list program is going well. Still having trouble reading because of the conditioned aversion that I was given when I was a child, like Brave New World. I was working out for the second time in a day yesterday, and this dude just would not leave me alone and started bringing up trauma from the past of like being subjected to like humiliation that wasn't borderline pedophilia, it was. And the community participated in it. And like, it brings up the reality that I'm in a human trafficking ring masquerading as a community and justice system. And like, they've ran so many deepfakes and so much deception, well, lying to people about what's been done. Like, they showed themselves at night putting in an electrode and shit, and like, no one will acknowledge this. And I was browning out at Warm Springs because of what they were giving me, with no idea what they're putting it in. At least that's a delusional mindset they say is delusional, but it's not. And like, I don't know. I don't really fear about doing anything that'll get me in trouble, because like, they'll just frame me again if they really want to bury me again. And I don't think they're going to let me go like they said they would, because freedom of an individual poses threat to the hive mind, which they are becoming. And anyways, I'm not sure what else to talk about this morning. Had a meeting with a peer support group, the lady who almost drove me out of town on accident. We turned around immediately as soon as we realized we were leaving town. She's cool. She's friendly. I like her. This community though sucks. There's some cool individuals in it, but overall this community sucks a lot. And like, what else? So A-list is going well. I need to pick up the reading and writing. I've got it approved by my parole officer to start doing boxing, so I'm going to train for that for a couple of months, then like train my body physically, and then find a boxing community, learn how to box, and start getting into some amateuring fights. I've always wanted to do that, but I just never did. It'll be hard with one eye, but I think I can do it. And then, so boxing, my plants, I haven't sprouted yet, but it's only been a couple of days. It takes at least 2 weeks for them to sprout, and then like 8 weeks until their saplings are big enough to put outside. I was thinking I'd make pickled peas using the extremely hot peppers. And so my reading is shit right now. My writing is kind of shit. My journaling is good, I guess. My working out, I've been doing it routinely for a week now. I don't think I'll see results for a month or two. And my job's going well. Emotionally, I'm healing. I keep having setbacks and regressions, but overall, I'm getting better. Let's see what else. So dealing with some PTSD, my body dysmorphia, I decided to put my body out there on display as overexposure until I can burn out the phobias of being like exposed, like nudity wise and stuff. Like, I'm not the biggest or the smallest, I'm just kind of average. What are the odds of that? And the average dick joke is just mean. And let's see. So working out, going well. I slept a whole bunch because I overworked, but I'm doing better. Reading, I gotta pick it up. Writing, I gotta pick up. Work is going well. I'm applied for Social Security supplemental income because I qualify for it. I just have to watch my hours. So working out, good. Reading, bad. Writing, bad. Mental, emotional health, improving. I'm dealing with PTSD of being abused as a child, and I see the community as part of it since they just watched and used it against me. Like, it's hard to continue trying to, as Fight Club says it, and self-improve is a form of masturbation, but it's hard to continue all of this when that's a cool looking plane. Looks like a Concorde. Who knows? It's hard to continue when you just don't feel motivated. And like, I guess there's a Muse song called Dig Deep. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like I've endured more than anybody in this community would be willing to endure. I know I have. And I'm not saying that there are others who haven't suffered, but to each, their suffering is their own. To relegate it or designate it as more or less than someone else's is stupid. We suffer for different reasons in different ways. But to recap again, reiterate, working out is going well. I'll see improvements within the next 2 months. Reading and writing, I am having trouble, some sort of aversion that I got to overcome somehow. Medication, like the way medication and like this in this modern age works is once you start taking it and your brain acclimates to it with neuroplasticity, you can't stop taking it without upsetting your brain chemistry. So even though they de-diagnosed me, I still have to keep taking the medication, like otherwise the neurotransmitters will be off balance and I'll go delusional. And like it's not because there's an organic brain disease, it's because your body, like nicotine, got used to the neurotransmitters and now it needs them to function correctly because you've been reconditioned to use them. You've been reconditioned neurobiologically to need them, essentially. So I take them, it's not a big deal. They don't have any side effects. And boxing, I gotta find a place to train. I want the discipline of martial arts combined with the outlet for my monstrous side in a controlled way, in like a ring. And I don't know, man. I hate this place. I hate this city. It's just full of people that self-impose. And like the constant threat of terrorism from the police force, like they drive by in their cars and it's an implied veiled threat that you better shape up and do exactly what they say, otherwise they'll torture you in a cage without trial, like they did last time, this time. And like, that's the definition of terrorism. They're here to protect and serve us from the rich. Instead, they're doing the rich's bidding. But, I don't know, it's stupid, I guess. But like, all my childhood trauma keeps resurfacing and I find myself saying words that are just like, it's the correct semantics, but like, saying it makes me feel shamed and like I'm gonna get in trouble for saying it. Like, pedophilia was committed against me when I was little. I'm in what is essentially a human trafficking ring, and like, it's used the justice system, but it's a human trafficking ring in my opinion, based upon the definitions. And like, it's a re-education camp. Like if I don't think what they want me to think and act how they want me to act, and I'm not acting unethically or having unethical thoughts, I'm thinking of what they did to me as if. And they say I have an attitude problem and like they molested me. Like, of course I'm gonna have an attitude problem towards them, and they've framed me for a crime. Like, or at least they denied me a lawyer and a judge was on the take. And so like, it's a human trafficking ring, and like, which makes it a really abhorrent community to be a part of. But I can't leave And every individual I genuinely want to interact with, intimacy, companionship, and whatnot, they interfere with. Or at least they say they're interfering with it in order to try to break my will so they can do this to other people. Fuck that. I'll take the weight of their hatred and greed so it doesn't get put on someone else. That's fucking like... It's like, I find myself mumbling about what they did to me. And I have this phobia that other people will think I'm mumbling it as if I condone it when I'm just trying to process the hatred that was... the malevolence that they used against me since I was little. Like, come on. They said things like, you kiss your mother with that mouth when I was little, and I had phobia of kissing my mom because I was forcibly kissed by adults when I was little. And like that's not child abuse, and that watching it isn't participating in it. Come on. I'm talking about this shit in my head, and people are just nodding, smiling, and doing the traveler's nods. Like the time traveling community nods and like finger pointing and shit. Because either they have no idea what's being said, and I'm some villainous person justifiably since birth to mark in traffic, or they don't know what's being said and they have no idea that like they're condoning some pretty abhorrent shit. So like, I don't know, I doubt this video will even get out because the wheel within a wheel is faster than light travel, photons warp space-time. Like, they're not letting an independent dissenter who can outthink them engineering-wise have the same freedom that they themselves and their kids enjoy. I mean, like, come on, I was targeted as a child after they lied and psyops to me. And so, like, the whole idea of me being the one with the attitude problem, or that our community is a working model of how communities should function, and you just have to fall in line or be electroded or targeted or drugged or framed, trafficked, using our justice system, which isn't a justice system anymore. It's a mockery. We're living in an alegalism environment where the laws are picked and chosen what they are enforced, which is far worse than anarchy and lawlessness. Lawlessness, like, they don't use the power of the state to target individuals with illusionary crimes. And like, that's alegalism. It's what exists in Russia, Mexico. It's America now. And like, anyways, so yeah, a community openly video cameraed me internally when I was growing up so they could hurt me later in life. And like, I'm being trafficked in what is blatantly a human trafficking ring with cops threatening terrorism against me, using the justice system. Like, that's how I see it. That's reality. And like, and no one has any clue of what's actually being said to me, or if they do, they're participating in something really abhorrent. And like, there's no way for me to escape. Like, there's a fear response conditioned or an artificial trigger, but fingers crossed and the sideways peace sign, which indicates I was remote controlled, like Levi was. Anyways, my boss is here, I gotta go.